So hope everyone's doing well.
Yeah,
We're excited to kind of be with you. For those of you who don't know, I'm Dr. Danny Holland, Dr. Jamie Holland, my wife.
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie. I am. We're married. We have 4 kids, and I'm a
True statement.
therapist. She's a doctor of nursing practice, and we're both professors. And so we're just kind of doing this whole disruption of life thing, and wanted to share some stuff with you guys. I will let you know though, if you're in Virginia and anything I'm sharing on these videos kind of lands and is a little bit difficult for you or whatever, something you're having an issue with, just feel free to reach out, message me. Be glad to talk with you individually too. But we're talking about sports are canceled and who's that nice woman on the couch. And so we want to talk about couple stuff a little bit because we know people are kind of going through some stuff and thriving during disruption. Now, first though, in the spirit of disruption, I do have something here that I want to go over with Jamie.
You never know.
Yeah, so
I really never know.
I need kind of a thumbs up or a thumbs down from you on a couple of these. I saw this on social media, and some of you probably have seen it. And so this is some social distancing pickup lines.
I can't read it. I'm
You trying to read it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to read it. Yeah.
These are pickup lines. So I'm not sure which ones are going to work here. So
my.
the first one's not appropriate, and so neither is the second one. So we'll skip those. Okay. So
Well planned.
yeah. Okay. So since all the public libraries are closed, I'm checking you out instead.
Oh yeah.
No.
No.
Okay. You can't spell virus without you and I.
That's pretty rough.
No, that's pretty bad.
No.
Okay. Here's one. Here's a good. This is a good one. Baby, do you need toilet paper? Because I can be your Prince Charming.
There you go.
Oh, wow, this is way better than I thought it would go. I like this one. I saw you from across the bar. Stay there.
Stay there. You stay there.
You stay there.
That sounds more like something I would say.
Without you in my life is as empty as a supermarket shelf.
Yeah.
It could be, hey, babe, can I ship you a drink?
All right, let's
That's
move
good, too.
on.
Or hey, you can't spell quarantine without you are a QT.
Oh my. I can't do that one either. There's only one out of all of those.
It's so funny. I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore.
I can't believe
but
tried
not that I ever did. Not that I ever did. See, I was implying that I ever tried anything like that.
Oh, I bet.
And I don't need anybody who's been with me in the '80s to message anything. But or '90s or whatever.
Oh yeah. Right.
But let's talk about thriving though a little bit. I've actually wondered about this though because I wonder how dating apps are going. Where you really can't connect with people. I imagine it's difficult. And I also bet affairs have decreased.
No
because honestly, everybody's kind of stuck at home and those things too. But yeah, let's talk about it because everything has changed. Everything we were doing has changed. We're at a whole different place than what we've ever been in before. And so, it's really kind of difficult, that this change occurs against our wills. And so we got a whole different thing we're kind of doing now. And so, our self-care for most of us has changed dramatically. Our routines, homeostasis is what we call it when what we do in our life helps us stay balanced. We do the things that help.
Balance,
balances us. We feel balanced in what we do. And so, but gyms are closed. Yoga's canceled.
I know. I keep whining.
Yeah, I know. Dancing's closed for a lot of people. Churches, restaurants, bars are closed. No sports on TV. And the only prevention for COVID is social distancing. So a lot of the things we've all done are kind of gone, and, so, we want to kind of talk about that too. So how have some of these changes though, Jamie, how have they affected your self-care?
Oh, like just taking care of me. Well, obviously I can't go out. I can't meet with friends. I can't, there's a lot of things I can't go out and meet with friends, which we really like. I like to go out to eat and, I don't like doing the cleanup work of eating. So, so I like to, and I haven't been able to do any of that. So we've kind of really had to adjust our schedules. It feels like we are, I feel like I do a lot of cleaning, cooking work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A lot of us have developed a lot of routines around this increased time with our partners. And it's been kind of difficult. We have all this increased time. We don't know what to do. So, for some of us, though, it's amplified the gap. Like if there's been a gap in the relationship and now you don't have these distractors or things you used to do, there can be a really amplified gap there. And so again, if that's the case, don't worry. The uniqueness of this opportunity right now can really be something that's positive and beneficial. And you're going to leave this video with a bunch of things you can do. So share it with your friends, whatever you can do, whoever can benefit from it. But, so we can talk about it a little bit too here, though. But, in our relationship and all relationships, there's really three of us. There's him, her, and in between is us. It's kind of like a gap here, like they overlap. And this is important because, there are things I need in my life for self-care for me. And there's things, Jamie, you have for you that are self-care. And then there is care that we do, or us care for us, the part in the middle. Mm-hmm. And there has to be all of those. It can't just be one or the other. Right. What are a couple things that you do for self-care for you?
I find nature, something outside. Yeah. I get some fresh air. That's huge to me. Sunshine is huge to me. We've already mentioned that I work out. And then, I don't know.
Yeah.
Puppies.
Definitely puppies.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's not good. That is not good. Okay, so those are good, and so and I've got several too, just things I like to do, go out and do, and spend time with people, serving in different areas, cuddling. I'm a big fan of cuddling. We know that. Yeah. Like that. And you're going to create these things with your kids too. And we'll get into that in a different one later, but we're talking about relationships right now. And so, there are some important notes of like wisdom, and we're going to get into some actual nuts and bolts here too, a little bit of some cool stuff, but
sure.
It's good to know that whatever we feed grows and whatever we starve dies. And so, that's a good thing to understand in general, because, sometimes I hear couples say, well, I shouldn't have to tell her this. I shouldn't have to do that. Or, they come and say, well, we just kind of grew apart and fell out of love. Well, people don't fall out of love. No matter what social media tells you or what someone's feed tells you or whatever, the grass is not greener somewhere else. The grass is always greener where you water it. And so what you're taking care of and where you put your energy is what's going to grow and increase. And so, venting and complaining, if it worked, really, I could find something else to do for work. I mean, because it's just not very productive at creating that change. And so, we're talking about direction of travel a little bit too, of like, what, how are we doing here? Because maybe you're at a place where you're a little distant from your partner, and it's kind of highlighted right now by this time. What's important is that you can take steps in the direction you're going. We don't reach a level of connection as a couple and then go, okay, well, we've arrived. We reach this level and then we say, okay, what can we do to continue moving forward? And we create patterns and habits that continue. Like, it's like your health. You can't achieve a goal with weightlifting or fitness and then go, I did it, and stop.
Well, and sometimes it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
Yeah.
So there's always that. It's a continuous intention that you have to have. Yeah,
it definitely. And making those adaptations of like, okay, when we do have that step back, saying, okay, let's just move forward and move on.
Yeah.
But those are big things that make a difference there. So, direction of travel is important. And I always like to tell couples, it's like we have a checking account together, the us.
Right.
And the more deposits you make in there, when you need to make a withdrawal, you have money, like just any other checking account. And so,
your emotional checking account.
Yeah, our couple's checking account.
Gotcha.
When you're doing, let's say we're cuddling, that's a deposit. When we have a connection, a time together of talking through something, that's a deposit. Down the road, when we start withdrawing, it makes a difference. I see a lot of couples that don't make the deposits, and then they're writing checks on an account they're not depositing into, and it causes some problems. And so. And it happens in anyone's life right now, because right now you're writing more checks than usual because you're in disruption, right? So like everything's changed. And so everyone's writing checks out of the account. You got to make sure you're being intentional putting them in.
Right.
And so we want those habits of deposit, those connections as well too. And so, what deposits in our relationship do you find helpful?
You're incredibly supportive. You listen. Oh my goodness, you want to talk about a great listener. I don't
That's
even.
Right.
He's catching me off guard here, but the deposits that we have, the time we spend together, the time that we go for walks, the time that you grab coffee in the morning for me. I can make that's a long list.
Those are little things too. I mean, those aren't really like monumental.
No, but they're daily little things that you are really intentional about. Like, he always brings me a cup of coffee in the morning. He always kisses me goodbye. It's an always.
Yeah. Well, it's a true fact. I mean, if you look this up too if you want, guys, but it is in fact a fact that if you do kiss your wife goodbye in the morning, you actually will avoid catching COVID-19. So it's been I saw it on a YouTube video. It's got to be real. And so
I think I'm leaving now.
Yeah, no, you can stay. You can stay.
Stop.
Actually, the research does indicate husbands who kiss their wives goodbye in the morning live 5 years longer than those who don't. So very, very interesting. But yeah, those little deposits can make a big difference there in our relationship too. Another thing that's really important to kind of build upon is seek to understand the lady on the couch before you seek to be understood by her. In other words, get to know your partner. Try to understand their position before you try to explain yours and have that expectation. It makes a big difference in communication. Because the Love Languages book, there's 5 Languages of Love. Great book, really encourage it.
Yeah.
But most people read that and they go, see, I knew I was physical touch. Why aren't you physically touching me more? And so that's not the purpose of the book. The purpose of the book is to understand your partner's love language so you can speak their love language, not so you can convince them to give you your love language. And so that's the whole premise that kind of messes up here, where we really want to make sure we are pulling from that to understand our partner more than anything else. My father told me when I was growing up, he said, you don't have to be an expert on women to have a great marriage. You have to be an expert on one woman. Right. And that's really the truth of it all is, like for Jamie, I understand you. Early on, I found out that by trial and error that what I like in flowers, you don't love.
Oh no, no! I hate baby's breath.
Yeah, baby's breath. So I know this is true. Like I think it's a great filler. It looks the white little. I liked it. I thought baby's breath. I always felt like an educated man going into a flower shop and saying, "I want baby's breath in there. Make sure there's baby's breath." And so because I figured they were looking at me like, "Ooh, he knows his flowers, right?" So like, but I pulled that and you looked at him like, okay, that's nice, and he. And so I figured out. So next time I got flowers, I was like, okay, I'm gonna nail this. So I called I called around and I found I started calling people and knew the area and I was like, who's the best? And they said Helga Mack Flowers. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna call them. And I spoke with her and I said, look, she likes tropical flowers. I bought her baby's breath. She did not like it, and she was like, "Ooh, like you what did you do? Like, I can help you." And so she made this amazing arrangements. If you look at Jamie's Facebook page, she takes pictures and posts them, and they're older now because I haven't done them for a while.
I don't know what's going on right now.
And so, but it was a great opportunity of this flower arrangement, and with Birds of Paradise and the other flowers she likes. And she was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And so I boxed myself into corners. So if I ever want to get flowers, like I have to go exotic, tropical, or anything less than that now is of course going to be like, what is this about? Like, thank you. It's not that she's ungrateful. It's that I understand what she likes. And so when you know what they like and you can kind of give that to them in that level, that makes it a big difference too. So that's the benefit. When you really have that understanding of each other, you can really benefit from that too. And so Jamie and I have a couple recommendations, though, that we want to go over with you really quickly and some tools. And, so just in general, though, number one, the biggest thing is to set aside time for serious discussions. Okay, so like finances, stressors, car repair. The tire's going flat. Okay, so those are only a few words. Okay, but here's the problem is that you get into this thing and this moment together and like the kids go to bed, you help clean the kitchen, there's all this playful banter, you come back, you're like, all right, let's wrap up the night. You wrap up the night and then while you're in that moment of wrapping up the night, hoping for a great moment, you guys just drop some kind of, oh, by the way, I'm not getting paid for my second job because of the, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, great, what are we going to do? And so all of a sudden you get this stuff that kind of comes in and out of nowhere, your conversation and that moment gets hijacked. So what I really recommend, though, is what some couples do that I see, they do is called the State of the Union, where one day a week or one moment or two nights a week, they'll have an hour where they just talk about logistics, budget, different things going on, things that need to happen. And so the little moments, the incidental connecting times don't get overweighed with issues. So good idea just to protect intentional and incidental moments. Just protect those moments.
Yeah.
So those conversations don't hijack the moment. And so now, Jamie, you're really good about this. Jamie's really good at redirecting in those situations. So, let's say we, come upstairs or we're downstairs and we're going to have a conversation about something or watch a movie on the couch, and then important phone call comes in, or you start looking at email, and next thing you know, that email is another email, and we're both guilty of those things. Mm-hmm. And so it's really easy for the moment to get hijacked. But we're pretty good at, if we can tell each other and say, hey, can we, what do you got to do? We both kind of quickly like, okay, let's get back on track. Instead of just picking up your toys and going home and marching to bed alone and like you were busy, and having that little attitude moment, really just having that quick correction. If you can correct from those things quickly, you can really get moving on and have a better time. But set aside the time. Yeah, better. You can correct it and move on. You don't have to let that define the night.
Sure.
Which is so easy to do with it just at default.
Or your time together, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Right.
And so redirect to the positive and don't get caught up in it. But second, be intentional. Be intentional. Don't wait to connect with each other when the moments come naturally. Some people just think like, well, we should be able to just naturally connect. Build connection into your routine. And this is critical because we're talking about disruption, right? So whatever you were doing, more than likely, whatever you were doing is no longer working. Yeah. So like we love just eating pretty clean, eating plant-based. And there's a couple of restaurants around where we live that are amazing. They just have great food, great options.
Yeah.
And we love just going there and getting a little change of scenery and just talking about life. Without disruptions of a dog at the back door, or all these other things.
Yeah, our house is pretty full most of the time.
Yeah, it's full. It's pretty full.
It has activity most of the time.
So those things we love to do. We're like, okay, let's
I'm glad that it is.
But now those places are closed. We don't have them. So, that's where you don't have those natural ones. You have to create new ones. So, again, that's the big thing to do. Build in those routines. And don't, I see a lot of people sometimes complain and, we just don't do this or we just don't do that. Well, you don't need to really complain about the lack of time together and things like that. Just make the changes. And what I tell husbands to do too, and wives do it too, just create an environment where you are removing the disincentives, where you make it easy to succeed as a couple. This is difficult for us in disruption right now, not right now, but it's different because what I would typically do is when I knew you were coming home from work, I would text whoever's in the house and I would say, look, how does the sink look? And I'll get a response and I would say, get it clean. Your mom's on her way home.
Warning.
I'm on my way home. And so let's just get that cleaned up and make the downstairs presentable. And the reason for that is just being stressed, coming home, finishing work, and then coming through the front door and immediately seeing new work that hasn't been done is just not really beneficial. It would just lead an additional stressor in that first moment. So trying to control that a little bit was super helpful at the moment. The problem is now is you work from home. And so there's absolutely no way to do that at this point. So, that's a little bit of a difference. So those are the type of things where you have to kind of adapt and say, okay.
We've been working pretty well on it though.
Everybody
in the house has really been working well to try to figure out how to balance that.
Yeah, everybody has. Everybody's really done well at connecting with that too.
But we've had to communicate a lot. We've had to be hyper communicators on that. So.
Yeah, that's the big difference. I think we really are we're recognizing this is new, this is different. How do we want to handle this moving ahead?
Yeah.
Again, we're thinking winter, not blizzard. It's not like, well, we don't need to have these conversations because this will be over on the 27th of April, whatever. Now maybe April, but
I have no idea.
But we don't even know. So we're like, okay, let's just create for what we got and let's move on from there. So, but build those connections into your routine. Don't wait for them to happen naturally. A lot of people just think like, well, we don't have those moments. Well, you have to be intentional. You have to protect them and take them and keep them. So build those avenues of connection, and do a quick inventory. What's working from what are we carrying over from before disruption? What do we need to create now? And then adapt, make them. Mm-hmm. And once we do that, then you adapt to the new disruptions with a variety of connections. What I mean by that is let the uniqueness of this disruptive routine be a catalyst to create something new. Get to know that nice lady on the couch. It's now that there's some different things to do. And again, really have the uniqueness of the situation work together. So, what is something we've done well to adapt maybe to this disruption?
Help me out.
Well, it's a dynamic process. I think you already said too. We've got we've got pretty good communication. I wouldn't say great. We have moments like all of you. We're not super anything.
No.
We know things in our head from our clinical body of knowledge and stuff, and we have to act it out. But
yeah, that's actually sometimes more frustrating. It's one of my best.
Yeah.
One of my famous lines is, "You're the counselor. You should know."
Yeah, I'm the counselor, and so it's awesome. What I love is and all my counseling students and friends and colleagues watching this will understand, but.
Yeah.
It is so helpful when I use an empathic statement with my wife,
Don't ever do that.
and
well,
and she's like, oh, you're throwing out an empathic statement, so I'm like, I'm using clinical skill stuff, so we have to do it just like you have to do it. So don't worry, it is what it is, and we get back to what's productive pretty quick. I think, like I said, you correct really quickly. We kind of move on, even though we have any kind of glitch, we just move on and we say, okay, we're not going to give that any more power in our relationship right now than we can.
I don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. So just move on, keep it going. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think one thing we've adapted to that's better than I probably would have expected is eating every meal at home.
Yeah. I think it was rougher the first week, just even because even ordering groceries or night, I don't know what I'm getting. Sometimes, I'm out of that. Oh, well, I needed that ingredient for that meal. Badly. So that's happened a couple times, and so we've kind of had to find a little bit more of we'll adapt to that, and so
it's been good. The food has been amazing.
Yeah.
I've lost more weight, eating cleaner and healthier. Even it's been really good. Feeling healthy, feeling good.
I'm eating snacks.
You're eating snacks. Oh, that's not good. I did that. I guess I had some Doritos today. That wasn't good either, but. But I mean, again, just what I say about is multiple domains is. You don't want just one. So let's say you and your partner, what you guys do together is you love to go to the gym together and work out. Well, the gym's closed. If that was the one thing, now you guys are scrambling to find something to connect on. So, look at your favorite shows together. You may have your favorite TV stuff you watch or YouTube channels or whatever you do. She may have hers, you may have, but what do you do together? Maybe you guys can come up with stuff together that you kind of want to watch too. I know you don't love my shows as much, and you feel guilty when I walk in and watching your shows because you're like, you're not going to like this.
Guilty is not the right word. I just don't want to be taking up the time.
Well, I don't mind. I don't mind that Abby thing you watch, like trying to watch that, but I don't even know what it is. You're like, no. You're like, you're like, no. This is no.
You're a distraction now. So we'll watch your shows.
And I trust you on that, and I thank you, but I trust you as well. Because I don't want to taint it and be like, and ruin it for you if you enjoy that. So, But we like going for walks. In fact, that's kind of been a trump card for all through grad school for both of us and our doctorates. Has been if either one of us feel like, hey, we need to check in and we need first priority right now. Yeah. Either one of us, if we say, let's go for a walk, that is put down what you're doing no matter what, and this is our time. So we kind of have that trump card, and that's really been helpful. I think a lot, but
that's been very useful. Definitely, that's a nice little piece, and we definitely have used it, and it gives us some space. It gets us out of the house, and gives us space from even there's some things you just don't want to have major discussions with your kids around, and so it gives us a little bit of that, so we can just kind of work through, or just time to work through your day. And sometimes what I would do in a day isn't something that I want to even share with everybody, or it's something that I want to talk to my husband about. So.
Well, and sometimes you can't vent at people at work. I can't vent at people.
Well, I shouldn't.
So no, I know, but I mean, we can sometimes, and it's not that you lash out at each other. We do, but I mean, it's the safest place to work through a lot of stuff, and so that happens in relationships, and it's a normal part of it. But we like going for walks though. Journaling, you could journal together if you wanted to. We don't, but we could do something like that. Could cook together. You could do Taco Tuesdays, wearing sombreros, and make a Spanish music mix and make a thing of it. Yep. You could do any of those types of routine type of things to create some kind of a thing together. I'm not wearing a sombrero, but it's a good idea. You can refinish a piece of furniture in the garage. You can do, And a side note, though, I mentioned to you before, the Mambo Room in Norfolk is offering free online salsa lessons. So if any of you are here and you look that up, though, but I've been warned by my wife, I am not trying to end up in an ER visit anytime soon. It's not a good thing to be in right now. And so, but I'm willing to try and
splint it and wait.
yeah. So, and so, and I know some husbands that have also been like their wives teach yoga, and they've been the one person in the class that they're doing online, just to try to be with them and help them.
Yeah.
That's a good little thing, just to connect and be a support what they're doing. And those are type of multiple domains you can do. But
right.
But here's we're going to wrap up with a couple tools here really quickly. There's some tools that can help. The 5 Languages of Love, the book we talked about, a good book to read together if you want to read through it. And what I really like, though, is there's an app you can get on your phone, it's called the Gottman Card Decks, Gottman Card Decks. And we're going to go through some of them here, too, because they're kind of fun. The first one we do is there's a love mapping exercise, and that's this one right here. Love mapping. Now, for the Gottmans, love mapping is the way you understand your partner's world. And so what you do with the cards or with the app.
Who are the Gottmans?
The Gottmans. Oh, good question.
Yeah.
John and Julie Gottman are the nation's leading experts on couples work, how to. They've had a love lab for 30 years, and they studied longitudinally couples and can predict the major things that cause couples to disrupt in their relationship, and are able to provide tools that are evidence-based that are phenomenal for couples. Right. So I really, really recommend this. If you work with couples, I recommend this. If you have somebody, I recommend it. These are just good things. But the love map exercises are things you can questions you can grab from the deck, split the deck in half, and then you can just answer some questions and see if you know the answers of your partners. So we have a couple here. So this one here is, what are some of your partner's favorite ways to work out? I already know that's hot yoga and hiking. She loves hiking.
Yeah.
What's your partner's favorite vacation? We went on a cruise recently. That's got to be it, because that was a lot of fun. Yeah. And what is one of your partner's favorite?
Not too recently.
We're due for something else soon here. But what's one of your partner's favorite weekend activities? I would say sleeping would be good, but I think she likes hiking. If she could hike every day of the week, she would be somewhere in a mountain, somewhere with nature. She fills up, loves it, and thrives. And we've already done a few miles today. And but just that's it's one of your big places. So what you got for him?
My turn.
It's your turn. What you got? You got this.
All right. Remember, all right. Never mind. What is one of your partner's favorite ways of being soothed?
Ooh. Oh, you got it. Right there. A little lower. Yeah, that's it.
Ah, yes.
Ooh, back rubs.
Back
Love
scratchies. Them. Yeah. And who is your partner's greatest source of support other than me?
Other than you.
You definitely have a friend he's
my
great.
brother. My brother from another mother, and he knows who he is.
Yeah,
so that is probably one of my big. I have several friends.
A couple,
I've got a lot of friends in different areas of my life that are super helpful.
You do have a great support
people I've known
system,
from all over, but I do rely, and I develop relationships intentionally for that and try to maintain them for both ways. But yeah.
What is your partner's favorite TV show? Oh, anything with cops in it. Cops. Bad Boys.
Yeah. Live PD is awesome. Live PD is pretty accurate to it's like. Anyways,
he's always like, look at that light bar.
Okay, that was not something we're going to talk about.
You dared.
But those cars are amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
all right.
Yeah, I do like those a lot too. There's one also called Open-Ended Questions, and it's a really complicated concept, but they literally are just open-ended questions. So we got a couple here. These are the open-ended questions, and these are all on the Cards app.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So
how do you see?
Remind me.
I'm just going to ask you a question and see if I can answer it here a little bit.
You answer it. Okay.
If I don't know the answer, it's something we can have a discussion about. So, how do you see your work changing in the future? And so, that would be a question I would ask you. You don't have to answer right now for time.
Okay.
But
thank you.
What do you want your life to be like, say, 3 years from now? Again, good question. You don't have to answer it. We don't really want to take up a lot of time, but What are those?
And so, like, what would you change about our finances right now?
Be debt free. That would be amazing.
Let's go really quickly on that.
That's
one.
an easy one.
That doesn't even take a second.
Yeah, no.
And what legacy do you want our family to take from your family?
Ooh, that's a good question for people. What legacy do you want to take when you're trying to build combined ritual? Yeah. I mean, we have a pretty strong faith sense in our family. I'd love to maintain that. But building rituals of connection. Again, another really good one. It is the blue ones here. The rituals of connection are awesome because what you do is you go through the deck together. And then you guys pick out like ones that you want to talk about. And then you agree on them. You say, okay, like renewing ourselves when we're fatigued and burned out. Yeah, let's talk about how we can build some ritual around that. Dreaming for the future. Planning staycations. And then there's a card that kind of guides you with a bunch of stuff on it. And it basically, so it's what's then you say, okay, what's meaningful about this for you? Why is this important to you? When will this be done? How often are we going to do it? You know, how long should it last? Who's going to initiate it? A bunch of questions that kind of lead you through it
to guide you
through the conversation, and it's an excellent tool as well too. And then there are opportunity cards, which we're not going to get into a little bit here too, and those are very, very similar. Those are literally just opportunities that we may have too. So again, great resource. Get it for your family. Get it for you as a couple, your friends. And so, this is kind of part one. Tomorrow we're going to kind of meet too. I'm not sure what time, but we'll do a little warning. We just figured out how to do that. I think I don't know what we're doing really, but tomorrow we're covering though, for better or worse, there was no pandemic quarantine clause in our vows. That's going to be a topic. So so kind of, it's going to give a lot more information specifically on, when you're kind of getting in each other's space and you're starting to have those little rubs from against each other from disruption. How do you handle that? So it can be super practical and kind of go from there. So well, cool. We appreciate it, you guys, and again, share this with whoever might benefit.
I miss y'all.
Yeah, we miss you guys. We wish we could do this face to face, but
but we don't. So
we are. Here we are. So
see you.
We'll connect. Bye.